in Barcelona.
Oh, come on, man. life,
Nothing
life
wrong.
is life, man.
Nothing
Sometimes,
wrong.
yeah, I know.
Nothing
Like we
wrong.
have our moments sometimes, right? Like especially we're working really hard and we're doing our projects or whatever. Like this is a project that we're doing on the side, isn't it? Of our main projects. So yeah, it's just been difficult, man.
Okay.
It's just been difficult. But yeah, I'm cool, man. You know, it's just live. Are we live? We're officially live, blood. Jeez.
Well, for this stream and broadcast, I thought I'd treat myself and have a bit of a Disaronno and Coke with me.
Ah,
So maybe you might want to have a little drink or something as well at the same time, because then that might change that life to life kind of thing.
But life situation. Sorry, I should have said life situation. Really, when I think about it, because we spoke about that before. Life is always happening day by day. What we do, that we're doing on the side, isn't it, of our main projects. So yeah, it's been difficult. What's going on here?
Oh my! What is that?
Yeah. Oh, it's coming up on YouTube. That's why.
Oh, it's going on YouTube right now.
Oh, so you're saying it's a bit delayed. Okay, so let me turn it off.
For this stream and broadcast, I thought I'd treat myself.
Yeah, that.
Serrano. Oh my days! So maybe you might want to have a little drink
no,
or something.
we're just gonna keep it jokes. We're just gonna keep it
jokes. Might change that life.
So yeah, on YouTube.
Wait, so is that because you had YouTube up?
Huh?
Is that because you had YouTube up? Why that?
Yeah,
why
exactly.
We heard that?
So it's on YouTube now. It's live on YouTube. So if they go to
I didn't know you could do that. I didn't realize it would last. I knew it was going live, but I didn't realize it could go live to the YouTube as well at the same time.
It can. And I think there's a way that we can add the link. Oh no, mine not gonna let that. Do you know? Let's just go with the flow, blood.
Yeah, we'll sort that out later.
Yeah, there's a couple. Can put the site on the side here. You get me? I could just type in the website on the side.
What'd you say?
Type in the website on the side, and this is what happens. Can you see it?
I don't see it. Have I got to look on something? Have I got to go to YouTube?
No. The screen that you're on now, what does it look like?
I see your face. In the corner, I see my face, like in the bottom right-hand corner. And in the top right-hand corner, I see it say live. And then on the left-hand side, they've got the little widgets for YouTube, Google Effects, Control Room, Capture, Q&A, Showcase, Screen Share, Chat, Recommend App.
Yeah, so the Q&A bit, if we go to that, we could submit, when we first go into questions or whatever it may be, we can pull it in here. And when people look at the questions that have been said, they can go back and refer to what we spoke about at that moment.
Oh, if we type in Q&A.
Yeah. So say you write a question here now, and you pull it in the box.
Yeah.
It will refer people to that question that was asked and how we answered it. Just go back to that part of the streaming.
Oh, scheme.
As far as I remember it. That's just
I'm
a bit new to this.
You have to talk me through it as we go along.
Yeah. Do not to be raggo freestyle, blood.
All right. Well, look, I've got some things that I could talk about, right? I got some things, but because of the kind of audio we're doing today, where it's live Q&A, I thought like whatever questions are submitted first or topics that we talk about that first, and then later when there's no if we've got time still and there's no more questions or topics, then we talk about the other stuff that we could bring, because what I could talk about now, I could talk about in another audio.
Yeah, true.
That makes sense. But because we're doing a like kind of live interaction thing right now, I think it might be nicer that we actually deal with those first, like make that priority, and then whatever we have time for after, then we also do as well.
Cool. Sounds like a good idea.
And also, because it's live, I was thinking this would be a great opportunity for us to, well, not just because it's live, but because of the kind of show that we're doing, be a great opportunity, and also because we're doing it live, be a great opportunity for us to actually thank everyone who, like people who are listening.
Yeah, man.
And people who are supported and people who have given feedback
Yeah.
and people who join in today, if they do, like,
Mm.
so I'm just going to say and acknowledge to everyone who has been, and you know who you are. The people, when I'm saying this, they know they've actually been supportive and encouraging and actually listened to some of our shows and stuff. And just like, it's a massive, it's a big thank you. I mean, even though this is something that me and you intended on doing anyway, just because we like doing it.
Yeah.
It is nice that we do have some people listening and asking questions about it as well, because it adds a different dynamic to it.
Yeah.
The whole point is, yeah, where it's just us two talking, sometimes with a female guest, aka Hayley. Big up Hayley.
Hayley Black, please for beautiful. I might go inside and get a beer. One sec. Hopefully he's not gonna mess up the stream. But man, has to do this thing, like.
But yeah, like
it smells good.
It's keeping it like this, as we said, like the rawness of it. So
yeah,
let's go ahead, Blad. So
okay,
one of the lovely ladies that's in my life that I know, she's submitted 2 questions.
Right.
And she doesn't mind if her name is said. So her name is Noria.
You get me?
She's from your end, but lives in London. Your country ends right now. Look at you outside in that sun, lad.
Man, man's on the deck chair.
I'll go outside right now. I'm gonna actually.
Next episode, then we have to be on the. I'll be on a hammock next one. yeah, man.
All right. So you said about the question. Is it something that I'm meant to write? Should I type what she wrote? I'm gonna say it anyway, obviously, but should I type it?
Yeah, type it in there. And does it allow you to type the question in?
No. Unless you mean you have to go to the website.
How can we do that? It has to be someone that officially writes the question, isn't it? Because it says questions here. Ask the audience to submit a question, but how do I do that? All right, let me just stay focused here. Think chat. Let me just say something like yo. Can you see that?
Oh, sorry, hold on. I was looking at a different page. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I can do it that way then. How did you do that?
I went on the left.
I found it, yeah.
Chat section.
Wait, I thought I found it.
Right, there it is. I'm not gonna lie, man. We've got another 10 episodes to get this on point, and there's some sick features on here, man. Man, they're looking for this properly, but there's bare stuff on here. Yeah, man, this is gonna be live.
All right.
Okay.
Right. So the first question, right? I'm gonna type it how she wrote it. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So like, then I will translate a little bit of it.
But I'm wondering if it's
Spanish. The question is why guys don't like sleeping with girls after having sex with her. What? She's basically saying,
I ain't one of those motherfuckers. I ain't one of those guys.
You have banged, made love, with the girl. Why don't guys like sleeping with her?
Boy, that must be hurt. No, but the thing is, what does she mean exactly? Does she mean one night stands?
No, I think that's a general thing. I don't think that's specific to one night stand.
No, man, I love doing that. I think that's the reason why I'm so picky, because I do want it to be that, I can end up sleeping in the bed after and then waking up in the morning not feeling like, I made a mistake. I'd rather feel like we've had a good conversation and that conversation led to us being in the bedroom. That's all gravy. And we slept together and I don't feel like I need to go home now. There's more time after sex. I'm trying to do it. I want to sleep. I want to sleep anyway.
Say that again?
After sex, I feel like I want to sleep anyway. So I'm not looking to go out and go home. That's long.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know.
I'm trying to think of the question, trying to think of that, because I know what you're saying. I'm trying to think of for the guys who do that though. Like, why don't guys like sleeping with a girl after having sex with her? I suppose it like this. I'm making this up. Like, I'm just assuming this, right? With some guys, either they're not like the kind of cuddling type. They don't really like the whole cuddling thing afterwards. And like after you have sex, that's generally what happens, cuddling, and girls like that generally more than guys. And maybe the guy doesn't want to do that. Maybe the guy doesn't want the girl to get too comfortable, thinking, yeah, probably just doesn't want the girl to get too comfortable and too hooked. And then the other thing might be to do with the whole. All right, I'm gonna speak like I'm aware that maybe this might happen for some. This happened probably for some other guys, but right now I'm gonna speak for myself. There have been times, like after you've had sex, sometimes you just feel like, get away from me. But maybe you don't. But there's times where I've experienced that. I've had sex with a girl. There's nothing wrong with her, but I've just felt like, after.
Why?
I don't know. It's like a hormonal thing. Not because like, I don't actually want to spend time with them still, or like actually in the bigger picture in the long run. But there's been times where after sleeping with a girl, I don't know. There's just like being turned off.
That's a bit about chemistry, man. Come on.
So turned on, having the whole thing, and after just turned off. Huh?
Is this girls that you've had chemistry with and it's built up?
Yeah,
having sex.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's not a particular time, a particular moment in my head, like a particular girl, I mean, that I can think of where I've been like, oh yeah, that definitely happened with her. But I just know that I've had I know I've had a familiar feeling at some kind of time when after sleeping with a girl, I've been kind of like, I just want some space right now. Like, not that I've said that to them or anything, but I've had that kind of feeling like, and that's been after coming, basically, after that release. But I have no idea why.
Boy.
So, one sec. Oh, Haley said I'm on it. Don't know whether you can see me.
Yeah. She's here.
We know you're viewing because it shows that you're viewing, Haley. But we don't actually like see you, as in see a video of your picture or anything.
Okay. I need to just work on here my thing, because I think my one's a bit confusing here.
Junior, what did this brother do? Don. Junior. I should just left it, bruv. I don't know what you did there, but you went.
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm here now.
Really?
Just jokes, man. No, I was just testing something out, and obviously, yeah, it's something mad. I'm in the wrong window, but yeah, I'm here. I'm back. All right. The house.
Well, yeah, that was her question about like, why don't guys like sleeping with girls after having sex with her? I don't know about, as I said, I can't speak for other guys. I don't think it's a personal thing, but I think sometimes there might be just a hormonal thing, maybe, as in like kind of just like, give me my space. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna comment for other guys, man, because it's hard. Like, for the most part, I mean, I've not really been that active anyway. Like, I've not been like mad active. So I don't. I've only had a couple of ones that I'd say are one night stands that was at the point where I had to go yard, or but I never felt like disgusted. Probably, I'm trying to think of a moment where it might have happened to me. No, because there was a couple of one night stands that are like, what the hell do you just do there, man? Like, do you know? To be fair, yeah, I have had a. But do you know what? To answer a question is that there's three types of girls that when it comes to like females that we link or whatever. There's three types. There's ones that have potential. There's ones who are just good for them at this moment, and then there's ones that we kind of regret, like, oh, like we should have done that. That was a desperate move, like. And I think on my part, when there's ones that were just like, just took one just to do it, like okay, she's on it, so I might as well do it. Those are the ones where I felt like, yeah, I think it's best to go home now, like. And there's been times, to be honest, I didn't want to have sex, and those are the times when I didn't want to have sex with them. It's like I just went on it, like. No matter how like she was on this thing, like I just was like, nah, you know what? I'm just not really on this, man. Like, and it's very easy to arouse me, man. Like I'm just like, wait, like straight away and thing, like. But if it's a point where I'm just not really on this thing, like there's something wrong with the energies in it. So it has to be, it has to have something to do with the energies then.
Yeah.
The energy person, maybe that they're overthinking things too much, or they're coming across, or too like are like, we exclusive now, right? Type energy coming up.
I was gonna say that actually. Yeah, I think it might be an energy thing. Because like, if it's like, you know, like, so after you just both had this real nice session, and now you're just both ready to chill for a bit. You don't even need to talk. There's no words. You can just put my arms around her, my chest, and that's it. That's cool. I don't mind that. But if a big conversation starts coming up now, like, how do you really feel about me? And like the poking, like, come on, give me some attention, and blah 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 blah. I think that's what it is for me. That will have me not want to sleep around. And if it's my yard, I'm not going to be like, get out, but it'd have me just kind of distance myself, and my body's just there, but I'm just like, okay, letting whatever go through one ears and come out the other. But yeah. And now other question. Oh, you're gone?
No. I was just, that question is quite interesting. So I just don't really know how to really answer it, man. Like, because the fact is, it's all about connection, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because I wouldn't say that's happened a lot to me at all.
Yeah,
definitely wouldn't say that's happened a lot. And if I'm definitely into the girl, I don't see why I would feel that way.
Yeah.
Not like get away from me kind of mode, but I mean, yeah, I might feel like give me a moment kind of mode, but not get away from me. But yeah, all right. And the other question.
But to say that, just to add a bit more, like, what could be there for her though? Like, I think you have to ask her a few more questions. Like, has she had that happen to her quite a lot? Is that why she doesn't? I don't know if it's happened. I mean,
hey. What happened? This guy left the group, lad. Yo. Junior Black, are you there? There you are. Can you say what you said again, because it cut out?
I'm here. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you now.
Yeah, right.
But wait,
man, what the hell was that? Oh, maybe it's just zoom in, like, get this bit, yeah.
was like, yeah. You know, say what you faced it. So it cut out. So I heard you say, what must be there for her to ask that question?
Getting me hungry and thing. Let me get some food. No, I can't eat a snack. I'm just gonna get a beer. Oh, where's the beer? And you'd be happy to know that this is not a strong beer. It's a weak one. It's one that the boys will be like, Mike, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you, Mike? Why are you drinking that for? I'm drinking. Oh, how did that go on there?
So what were you saying?
Yeah, so so I think we need to. I hope that she comes up on the show. You get me, so she can just elaborate on that question, because what's been happening for her? Like, is it that she's had maybe 4 or 5 guys that have done that to her? Let's just bring up that question, because it's not a typical thing that comes up.
Bruv, that's in our heads. There's stuff that comes up for girls that we wouldn't think that would come up for them.
They need to come on the show and tell man where it is then, because man's got blind spots.
Me and her were chatting yesterday, and I'm not going to go into detail about that because that's some personal stuff that she was sharing about. But to me, because of some of the stuff that she shared, it kind of makes sense because of some of the experiences that she's had, and not necessarily, and also because of this. And this isn't just a personal thing to her, but this is me saying it as a general thing to females.
Yeah.
The degree of meaning, the degree of interpretation that they add and create is crazy, lads. That's why I had to finish with that one. You know, I sent you that picture. Yeah, I can see your face. Remember I sent you that picture, that screenshot of what I said to that girl? Yeah, the recent one. I'm not gonna say her name. I said about basically we're not a match, and I want to hang out with girls that are more similar to me and blah 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 blah. What I really got annoyed about was just the misinterpretations that were continually happening. When what I was saying was very clear. But sometimes females, in their own communication, they'll say something, but they're really meaning something else underneath it, or they want it in the guy to kind of guess what they really mean. And so because that might be their kind of conversation and thought pattern or process, then when they just have it, I suppose, that when a guy's saying stuff, they're kind of actually meaning something else too, even if a guy is actually saying what he's saying straight and he means that.
That's quite
also
deep,
I got grilled a little bit the other day, right? It was all done nicely, but I got grilled by my mum, a cousin of ours, and the actress, one of the actresses that was in the film, right? Because I was just sharing about my journey at the moment, and we'll touch on this a little bit later maybe, but I was basically saying the kind of place that I'm in right now, I actually have no desire for a girlfriend, and that's what I want to talk about, but later. And when I say I don't have a desire for a girlfriend, I don't mean like, oh, for now. I mean like my life. If I could stay single for the rest of my life, cuz I will completely be happy and content. Like, that's how I feel. I don't actually want, but I'll come back to that later. So that was part of that.
Bombs, like, you can't just drop their bombs now, bro.
That partly came up in the conversation, but I was also talking about like how I date. Obviously, I don't call it dating. I call it like spending time with a girl or chilling. But obviously, they're looking at it from their perspective, which was fine. But like, they were basically saying, look, Ash, you can't be doing some of the things that you're doing, and you got to suppress yourself. Basically, you can't be cooking dinner for a girl. You can't be cuddling a girl. And when I said sometimes jiggy happens from time to time, that was it. It was all over when I said that. But they were saying other things that you can't be doing that because a girl's gonna think that could basically mean the way you might feel about her and like relationship wise. And I said, and then I stopped and I was like, what? Even when verbally out of my mouth, what came out of my mouth is, hey, look, for example, the last recent thing was, I'm not going to be in a relationship until I'm in love. I'm not in love right now. So therefore, obviously, I'm not going to be in a relationship. I was like, even if that was coming out of my mouth, you mean to tell me, even when I was doing those things, they're going to still add that meaning. And then they were like, yeah, because your actions are contradicting what you're saying. But I was like, but they're not really. That's the meaning that you're adding to my action. basically. But you remember when we were having a convo with Haley in one of the audios, and I remember one thing that she said, it stuck to me. She was like, for example, we was talking about chivalry, and she was saying about, like, you know, a guy might open the door for a girl, or keep the door open. A girl will walk through and think, oh my gosh, does he really like me? Is he going to hit on me? Blah, 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 blah. Even though the guy might just be like, oh, I'm just opening the door for her.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
No, I'm shaking my head. Because what do you want? Do you want the bad guy or the good guy? Like,
What? Do you want a bad guy or the good guy?
yeah, like, because at the end of the day, all these things that we're doing is natural for us to do, and it's respectful. It's coming from a place of respect.
Yeah, it's coming from that and love and all that sort of stuff. But they're saying, no, you can't do that because that's leading the girl on, even verbally when you said the other stuff. And then especially once you've had jiggy with them, because of all the emotions that get connected. Like, we don't feel emotions too. Yeah, we do. But blah, 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 blah. Are you frozen? Are you still there? Oh, no, you didn't freeze.
No, it's just
frozen. Like, you were just still.
I was still. Trust me. No, do you know what I gotta say? I don't know how to be a dickhead, innit? It's as simple as that. So they're just gonna have to run with that. Like, they either want me to be a dickhead, and if they want me to be a dickhead, I can comfortably be a dickhead, but I'd have to be 100% dickhead. That means cut you off, act like you do not exist. If you want that guy, gravy, we bring that guy out. But for the most part, I don't want to live my life like that. I want to live my life genuine. And if I like someone's company, I'm going to continue to be genuine and show how much I appreciate their time.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Like, at the end of the day, in 1 year's time, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to be at my job in a year's time. I don't know how much money I'm going to have in a year's time. How the hell am I going to know which girl I'm going to be in a year's time? I don't know the answer to the questions. Like, at the end of the day, we can aim to get to various places, yeah. But I can't promise anyone anything. I don't owe anyone anything, man. Just because I'm being nice to you doesn't mean that I owe you something now. Like, yep, do you know what? Being good for you for 1 year, that means I have to be with you forever. No. No. In a year's time, we might not get on after. We might grow apart. Like, but for the most part, now I'm feeling it in it. Like, I'm feeling it now. But that's how we got. But this is the problem: is that I had a girl say to me before that you need to be an asshole, basically, to girls if you don't want anything serious. And I was like,
your face looks disgusted, bruv.
Huh?
Your face looks disgusted.
No, but I'm just vexed now because it's fake about it. Like, it just seems fake. I don't want to go around just being like playing hard to get and all that stuff, all that game stuff. Like, I just want to live life free. Like, I just want to relax, and if I feel good about something, I feel good about it. If I feel bad about it, I feel bad about it. Like, but I'm not trying to put on the little act and role, like, if I do this and then I can win her over, and no, allow that, man. Like, I ain't got time for that. I think it's an age thing, actually, man. I'll be honest, man. Like, man's getting old, innit? Like, man's getting like 30s now. It's just getting too much.
Cause
all those little
I get what you're saying about that's not old. Just to throw that out there.
Okay, it's not old. Okay, no.
I get what you're saying.
Tolerance level is very low for certain things.
Oh yeah.
Very
definitely.
low. Like, I've been there and done it. Like, boy, you know what? Any girls in the early 20s doing bull crap, I'm out the game early, so quick, blood. Like, in fact, I didn't even step foot on the pitch. Like, that's how deep it is. If you're playing a game with me, trust me, man ain't even touching the field. Like, man's still outside. Like, man's still in the queue stadium.
But that's why, like, it's so, for me, it's so important to, like, just be around, just to, in terms of, like, there's so many people in the world, so that's that. And I obviously have to be with how people are and accept that, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But in terms of the people that are dominantly going to generally be in my life, and this isn't just for girls, this is just people in general, but specific to girls, we have to be vibing and connecting and have some, and we have to be a match somehow. And like, the thing is, and yeah, it's probably not just a girl thing,
It isn't a girl thing. It ain't just a girl thing.
But girls don't know what they want, but they do know what they want, but they lie to themselves. Oh, I don't want a boyfriend, but they really do. So that girl, for example, the last one that not the last one, but the one I told you about, I finished, was spending time with. When we first met, and I told her where I was at, I don't intend on being in a relationship until I'm in love. She said, "Oh, yeah, that's fine. Like, she's just looking to spend time with not girls, get to know guys at the moment, and she doesn't want a boyfriend." That's what she said. And then, and then basically, I don't know if I'd shared this with you already or not. This was the one that asked me about, am I dating other people on Tinder and stuff still? That one, yeah. And then there's a point where it got to where I felt like, you know what? I think I need to bring this up again because I'm starting to feel maybe she's starting to think that this is going to go a different way. Whereas for me, it was not going towards a relationship at that point in time. So I brought it up. She got annoyed that I brought it up because she was like, "Oh, what have I done? Or why would you think that? Why would you need to say that? Blah, 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 blah." Then there's whatever happened in between that space of time. Well, we hadn't seen each other, but we were in touch. And then I ended up speaking to her and just basically sharing with her and letting her know, look, this is where I'm at. And I feel that we're not a match. And it's best that we spend time with people who are a match. And then obviously we ended up being on the phone for about 2 hours or so, which was fine, which I think was for her to clear some stuff up and closure. But that's when she started opening up more and sharing. And then that's when she came out with like, yeah, she was thinking that maybe she obviously did start seeing me as potentially in that light. Like, and this is the thing that I was saying, right, the other day. So wait, before I go on a tangent. So fair enough, it might have changed for her. But to me, I don't feel like it changed. I think it was a case where she was clear that she does want a boyfriend, but she said that she didn't. And what was the other thing? I was saying to my mum the other day, well, all the three of them, but then me and my mum continued the conversation later. And I said about how, obviously, how I feel right now, I don't have a desire for a girlfriend. It's not just for this period of time in my life. Because they were kind of like, oh, when you see a girl that you really like, you might then, and I was just like, but no, I just don't feel any desire to have one. Just like I don't have any desire to go kill anyone, right? Or even like a fly. I don't like, when you see insects, like I don't kill them. Like if I see a spider, I take it like, there's no, I have no desire. It's like that. And but obviously I still like spending time with girls. I like doing things with girls. I like doing things for girls as well. And of course, jiggy. I enjoy that too. So for me, I'm like, okay, well, I was thinking to myself, is that something I need to say first to a girl now to let her know? Because generally, obviously, when people date, when people date, they date for a reason, for an outcome. I'm going to date you because I'm going to see if you're going to be my boyfriend or girlfriend. Like dating equals that. Whereas for me, even when well, not forever, but there was a point where I got to dating where dating to me didn't equal girlfriend. Dating was just dating. And then at the time when I did want a girlfriend and all that, if when I have a girlfriend, or if there's a girl that I want to have as my girlfriend, I want to be her boyfriend, then they're both individual things. And so I was saying about like you can just date to date. Like you can date just to enjoy dating. You don't need to date for something to try and get something. And that was the kind of conversation I was having with my mum. And I was asking her like her female, because I wanted to get her female advice as well. And encouragement in terms of like, all right, how can I move forward now that I don't want to have a girlfriend, but I still want to date? And then all this information that you guys have said about, but girls are going to want, they might want a boy, they might want a boyfriend. And obviously if you're doing those kind of things for them, then they're going to want one. And then obviously, you're going to hurt them and blah, 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 blah. So I was like, all right, well, what advice would you give me? And then she said, don't do those things unless you have a girlfriend or unless you make her your girlfriend. And I was like, okay, mum, I was like, thank you. And I get that. But I said, try and get into my world for a second. You're giving me advice on doing something that I don't want to do right now. So can you try and give me some advice on what I actually want to do, like how I can fulfill on what it is that I want, not what you want or what the society or what people generally want, like what I want. So what I want is not to have a girlfriend, but it's to spend time with girls or a girl and chill. And that's going to look like what that looks like. She's round watching a DVD. I'm cooking for her. She's cooking for me. We're going to we go to the cinema. We go dancing. We might travel to like and we're having some delicious, bombastic, making love sessions too. All of that. Oh, and great conversation, of course. And so that's what I want.
Battery.
Huh?
Battery. Continue, but I got 10%.
Okay. Do you need to charge it?
Will you remember where you left off?
Yeah.
A second, I'm just gonna get a charger, man. Hey.
All right.
Trust me, keeping it raw, blood.
So I was saying, so what female friendship / motherly advice can you give me in terms of what I want? And she was like, I can't because, you know, obviously she was thinking obviously from her perspective and point of view and how some things should go. Oh, can you hear me still?
I can hear you.
Oh, you could hear me still, okay? So I wasn't looking at the screen and then I just saw you all the way over there. Yeah. So she was like, oh, I can't. I was like, of course you can. You definitely can. You just got to try and you just got to not look at it from your perspective, but try and see if you can see it from my perspective. So anyway, we continued talking a bit more, and then I said the question again, but I think I came out of it in a different way. And she did come out with a piece of gem, and I was like, boom, that's the thing. And I was like, thank you, mum. There we go. And she said, just go with the flow. And I was like, oh yeah, of course, just go with the flow. So I don't need to be thinking about, do I need to say this to this girl now at first or before? Because I don't want to have a girlfriend, and they most likely are looking for a boyfriend. So maybe that's why they're dating. But like, no, I don't need to think of any of that. Just go with the flow. And if it comes up, it comes up. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And if it does, and when it does, I'm gonna be going with the flow. So it's gonna be like, hey, look, this is how it is for me. If that's how it is for you, okay, cool. Matching, not matching, that's all right. So basically, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. And at first, I didn't say anything to anyone. I wanted to because at first I wanted to make sure it wasn't a racket, like I wasn't annoyed with girls. But I didn't. But that's not the feeling that I have when I say that. It's just more of like, you know what? Also, as well, is I don't see what the point is anymore for my life. I don't see what the actual point of having a girlfriend is for me anymore. Not that there isn't a point for other people, but I mean for me and the kind of and just how I am and the journey I'm on the lifestyle.
It's the companionship, like it's the you know, like a lot of us, life becomes a little bit more easier, not just financially, but also just on I just think it's a teamwork thing, man. This is some things that you're gonna need teamwork with. Like there's a lot of things that we can do in our life right now.
Why should you be my girlfriend for teamwork? You don't need to be. I don't need to have a girlfriend for teamwork.
Well, I will say one thing though. I will say one thing about that.
Yeah.
It's all about the label. And I think if we stop labeling it, enjoy someone's time, and that's that. Just enjoying their time. Just enjoy their time. We'll stop. I like. It might occur. This is my I'm doing a lot of things that seems like we're in a relationship, but you don't need to really put anything on it.
Do you know what? This is what how this kind of conversation, the thought came up for me. I was at the train station with my mom, was going to Chelmsford, and across the platform I saw a female. I was like, oh, she's nice. I was just appreciating her. I was looking at her. She looked good. And then there was another girl that walked past her, and I started looking at her, and I was like, oh, she's nice too. And then all of a sudden, I just heard this thought or this voice: I don't desire to have a girlfriend, or I don't want a girlfriend, or something like that. And before, like in the past, when I've seen loads of girls that I've just been like, oh, she's hot, she's hot, she's hot. It's been like, oh yeah, I want to bang her, I want to bang her, I want to sleep with her, I want to sleep with her. Whereas now, that's not the first thing that's there. I'm not saying that I wouldn't want to sleep with her, that girl still, but that. Whereas before it was like, oh, I just looked at the girl and was like, oh yeah, she might. Oh, I'd like to give it to her, and da da da. That's not what's there. That's not the only thing that's there. And so when that moment happened, it was kind of like, it was like versus, oh, wouldn't it be nice to spend time with one of them? It was like, wouldn't it be nice to spend time with both of them? That's what was there. And then when I just started thinking of my life, I was like, yeah, it would be nice to ask. There's that girl, and I think she looks quite nice. I'm going to spend some time with her. And obviously, and the fact that she wants to spend time too. And then, oh, there's that girl. She looks nice too. I want to spend time with her. Oh, and her. Like, why could I not spend time with all of them? Well, when I say all of them, not every single girl in the world, right? But why not? But then if I'm in a relationship, in the kind of relationship that I once imagined having, which would have been more of an exclusive relationship, inside of that, I would not be, I would, when I'd see another girl that I think would look nice, I'd just be like, oh, she looks nice. And it'd just stop at that. There wouldn't be, oh, she looks nice, let me spend some time with her, even when I've got a girlfriend. And that's kind of all what happened. That was the kind of whole, I don't know what to call it, but that moment that happened. And yeah, like I just feel, why can I not just do that? And that doesn't mean every girl who I might spend time with it involves jiggy either. Doesn't need to involve all that all the time.
It doesn't.
So that's kind of what's there for me. Like, oh, so I'm living my life, and obviously my purpose is like following my heart, and there's different things that are connected to that. And like obviously my creativity is one of them. And just like with my creativity, I'm not just going to stick to one role, for example, like acting one role. I'm not going to stick to just writing one kind of type of stories. Like, oh no, I want to explore with that, I want to explore with that, and and I can do and there's loads of ideas that I have, and I may not get all of it done in this lifetime, because every time I'm working on things, I still get more and more ideas, but I get to choose, like, all right, what are the main ones that I want to kind of work on at the moment? Like, for example, even this project, this is what we're doing right now. This is one of the projects I'm like, oh yeah, it's to work on. Bam, we're exploring it, we're playing with it, we're creating it as we're going along. Film project. When I'm doing when I'm in part of other people's projects, like all those creative things, like, oh, that. And obviously making sure I have the space and I'm balancing that. Just like friends, I don't just have one, like in terms of my close friends, I don't just have one close friend. Yeah, the kind of friendship that I might have may vary a bit, obviously, because each person is an individual, and the degree of how the friendship might have blossomed and evolved. But I don't just spend time with one friend. So why? So not why do I have to? Because I don't have to. So why not spend time with more than just one girl? And that doesn't mean. It could mean, and it doesn't have to mean this. It could mean, for example, there's two girls in my life right now that I'm spending time with, during the week at different time. It could mean that, and it could be more than two. I don't know. It depends on if I have time or not. Or it could just be this one moment in time. I'm spending time with one girl, and when I'm saying all this, I mean romantically. Okay? I'm spending one time with this girl romantically, just her for now at the time being, because that's just how it's flowing. And then it comes to a completion, an end. She goes her ways, I go my way. And now there's a new one that shows up, and now I'm spending time with her. It could go that way. And those are the only two ways I've thought of right now. Obviously, there's other possible ways maybe that might come up that I might think of. I don't know. But like, why not?
I think it goes on to what we was talking about before about ownership. Like a lot of people want to feel like they own something and have control over something. Like when you have a girlfriend, you're kind of making a promise that you're not going to do anything with anyone else. You're not going to lust for anyone else. This and this. All these things are all to do with having ownership and controlling someone. Because who is that person to do those things? Like, I'm not saying that cheating's a good thing, but in reality,
You're not saying what? You're not saying what?
Cheating. The word cheating.
Oh yeah.
It's labeled as a thing that is being dislaw and you're basically fucking someone over, isn't it? Like if you think about it. But with the amount of people that we interact with in life as a whole, the only reason why that upsets the other person is if you're doing something romantic. Because if I'm meeting a friend, I meet another friend, like you said, if I meet another friend the next week, that friend, like, you don't see me that often. It's only me and you in this one life. Just me and you. You can't meet any other bedrooms. Like, just me and you. Like, you're my best friend. Like, allow it. Like, I know a few people. I want to go and travel to. And this is the thing now. Is it because it's male and female? Because my thing here, that this is what makes it really hard for me about getting into a relationship, is that I have a lot of
Just
people.
there's a little echo going on. I don't know if it's really like if you did something to your volume or if it's me, but there's an echo going on.
How about now?
Yeah, it stopped.
Shit,
but I can hear me through your thing. But it's fine. It's fine, man.
No, I might have to put the headphones in. You know. Yeah, in fact, that's what I'm gonna do. Just flipping flies, man. I kill flies, blood. Raggo. He's talking about these things, blood. I kill a fly, blood. Box in the face. What's this flies doing, blood?
You know what? One, I remember Tayo in Grand's garden a long time ago when he was a little baby or toddler, or whatever. I don't know who it was. Maybe it was me. I was gonna step on something. He's like, "Oh, don't do that. That's God's living creatures." I think ever since then, I was like, okay.
I remember that still. That's old school. I remember that.
And then, earlier this year or last year, because I know what you're saying about the flies, right? I really don't like it when loads of flies are around me. But I remember hearing someone, it was when I was listening to Abraham Hicks, and they were like, I was blah, blah, blah in the jungle, and all these flies were kissing me, and they just continued talking. And I was like, that's a nice way of looking at it. Looking at a different context. So you just got some flies kissing you, bro.
That's blood, man. They're not kissing, man. They're pissing, man, off it. No, I hear you still. No, yeah, it's always perspective. There's some things that will annoy people so much. You'll be like, it's not that much of a big deal, mate. Like, you're like, yeah, man, like, no, like, you know what I'm saying? But just the flies, like, what I'm measuring at flies, like, I'm obviously giving a sign.
To be
of
fair,
like,
you're in their turf, though, just so you know. Their turf. Just letting you know.
Do you know what it is?
I know it's your turf too, but you're in their turf. You're outside.
Arrogant. They're just arrogant, man. They're just flying around you and it's saying, go away. And then it's deliberately coming back and pissing man off. Look how small they are. They're so tiny. I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah. They love life.
You said is it to do with a male and female?
Yeah, so
probably not, because we're saying that because we're straight. So we're in if we have romantic relationships, it's heterosexual. But if you're homosexual, I'm sure the state it still applies. In that context, I mean.
right, no, we have to dissect this.
So it's more the context, isn't it? I suppose, than whether it's a male and female.
Like I don't know, like if I'm trying to look at this from a female perspective, like how my life is, because my life is that I know I've met a lot of people in my life, and I really value their friendships. You know, people that I've met, and I'm not going to forget. And you know, whether I see them next year or 2 years or next week, it's still going to be people that I really, you know, genuinely care for, and looking forward to seeing them again. And a lot of them are females, and a lot of them females are not females that had anything romantic with.
Yeah.
So where I'm trying to go with this is that when you're in that situation and you're free bird, just like how you're speaking now, you say that you don't want to have anything romantically. So you don't have a desire to have a girlfriend right now.
Yeah. Not right now. Not right now.
Full stop. Okay, you don't want a girl. No, but you know, I'm gonna stand in that is for right now.
I'm open that it could change. I'm open, obviously, that could. I'm not closed. Like, that's because, as you said, right? I don't know. I don't exactly know what's gonna happen for the rest of my life, right? I might have all these intentions, but I don't exactly know how it's all gonna go and all unfold. And as if God willing, that I live to up until in 70s plus, anything can happen in between that time where where that changes. So I'm not closed, like as in, I'm not gonna have a girlfriend, but I just right now it's just that I'm clear, just like like I don't have a desire to become a swimming athlete, I suppose. Right? Let's say that. Like, I just don't have that desire, so I don't see that happening in my life up until I die. But I'm not closed off that that's a possibility that could end up happening, like that could end up unfolding for me. And and then I do end up wanting to do that. So it's like that. And the reason why I'm distinctively saying it like that is because there are things that I do have desires for. So obviously, then I have in my mind those intentions for those things to unfold and happen in my life. So at one point, when I did have a desire to have a girlfriend and a relationship for my life, when I'd think of my future, at some point in the future, somewhere, there would be a girlfriend in that future. And a life that me and her are creating and sharing with each other. Whereas now, I don't see that. I see me living how I'm living, and here's this girl who I might be spending time with for a time being. And here's another one. Or it might end up where it's just this one, and then I keep spending time with her, maybe, and then that changes to okay, we're in a relationship. I don't know, but the vision's changed to how I saw it before. The one thing that's not changed in that vision, though, I still would like to have a couple of angels. I'd still like to bring a couple of angels into the world. So I'm not sure how exactly, apart from adopting, which is something that I've always something that I would like to do anyway. So I've started thinking about, all right, what's certain things that I'm going to put in place to give myself the best credibility to be able to do that in terms of, and when I say that, I mean mainly financially, like so I can have real like hardcore / proof evidence credibility. So I know some of that stuff is going to be important that they're going to look through, and because of the line of work that I'm in, which is the acting and dancing and stuff, there's no particular like, oh, this is the exact salary you get every year. So it's like I need to find a way to create a report or whatever you want to call it to be able to share that, so I can be eligible to adopt, because that is something I'd like to do. So for me, I'm thinking of not right now this year, but like maybe but next year, looking into like some of those steps to do that. However, I also wouldn't mind having an angel that I bring into the world, which is that I've created with a girl. Now, and this is my assumption, there's going to be girls who are up and all about that, like, oh, like, because how it usually is imagined is, oh, you meet someone and then you have children with that person, like with you married them, whether you're marrying them or not, but you're together in a relationship. Now, obviously, because I don't desire to have a girlfriend, I'm not exactly sure how that would be created yet. But I did think like it could be a case where there's a female who wants to have a child too, and that's something we just arrange, like it's an arrangement that we create together. Or it could be like, could end up happening with a friend. Like I remember seeing this in like, and even though this was TV and it was Friends, but I remember thinking, oh, that was quite nice. I remember Ross, was it Ross and Rachel, or someone basically said like, oh, if you haven't got any children by this time, then you know we can have a kid together. But they weren't together in a relationship. Wow. I don't know if Ross said that to Rachel in there or whatever. But I remember thinking, oh, that's quite nice.
Sounds like Ross.
And I remember thinking like, so that was years ago when I saw that. And I did say this kind of like passing joke ish, but someone that you know, one of my friends, when she was having a little moment of, I need to get married and have children, you know, and she's mid-20s, right? But she was having that moment, and I was like saying whatever I was saying to laugh at her, but also calm her down. And I said to her, like, what's your latest like deadline? And she said like 35. So then a passing kind of joke, I said to her, well, if you haven't had a child by 35, if I'm not in a relationship, I'll give you a child, or we can have a child together. But that wasn't me thinking, oh, we'll be together in a relationship, we'll get married and blah, blah, blah. He's saying that based on the kind of connection that we have as friends. So maybe that may end up happening. Not maybe with that particular friend, but there may be someone who shows up in my life who we have that just a real nice, cool friendship and connection with, and we might even be in a similar place, or we may not be, but you know, that is something that we create together. Because beforehand, obviously, when I thought about having children, apart from adopting, what was in my head, partly because this is what I just have been told, you have a girlfriend or a wife. Well, really, you're meant to have a wife, and then you have children. So
I think
there we go. That was a long spiel there.
Boy. There has to be a reason why relationship occur, like you know, like marriage, relationship, that it was created. Do you think it was made to be a marketing tool in life, or do you think it was something that was manipulated for us to believe that it should be this way? Or because naturally, when we're born, when we come into this life and we get to understand things, we see it as, okay, we're in a family, and the only way you're going to get workability in a family, if you connect well and you enjoy that person's company, and that then allows you to raise your children in a great environment. You don't need to both be, you know, at each other's neck all the time. That could affect the children. Now, what you're saying about having a baby mum, what I'm trying to get at here is that I'm trying to work out if it is actually just a lot better, and it just makes, and it's just more logical to be in a relationship to have those things workable, or if they could be workable without being in a relationship. That's where I'm at the moment, is because what you're saying is interesting, because it does make me think that there always seems to be a motive with two people who are together, and especially for the female gets to a point in that relationship where she feels that we've been doing this for so long now. We should get married now, or we should have a kid now, or we should. The next level should be this, or this, and this.
Mm.
But it doesn't. There shouldn't really be another level, really. It doesn't mean that there has to be another level. You know, relationships. Therefore, the next step should be to be married, or you know. But something has allowed us to believe that.
Yeah, I don't know if this is true, but this is what comes into my head. That's what's been used to measure the quality, the decency of your relationship or not. Whether like the length of time you're with someone, the kind of commitment that you've created with each other, and then if you've got married, and then if you've had children, and then if you've bought things together like a house and all that, that on an external level is what's usually used to measure how good the relationship is or not. And if you don't have those things or don't do those things, then by that kind of mainstream look at perspective of it, then the relationship is just probably not that good. Just like in terms of what success means. Generally, success is in terms of in life is like in the Western world, let's say at least, right? Is generally measured in terms of how much money you have, maybe how much material things you have, like home or homes, cars. What else? Maybe whether you are a boss in your job. Maybe whether you have investments, so that's another financial thing. Even like maybe how your body physically is, like in terms of if you're muscly and ripped and boom, like those kind of things are generally looked at and labeled as or used to measure kind of someone's success. Versus, for example, is someone generally happy in life, or is or like they live in life kind of generally stress-free? And I'm not saying that it means that they might not have money too and all those other things that I just said, but for example, how do you really measure if someone's happy? You're not really able to measure if someone's happy. Really, there's not really anything that you can be like, apart from obviously if they're smiling or not. But you know, we can smile when we're not happy. So there's not really anything to be able to determine those kind of things. However, again, if we use success and happy, all those other things I just said, they could also be used. They could be used as things to measure someone's happiness. Like, oh, that person must be happy because they've got that amount of houses and cars, and they've got that kind of girlfriend or wife, or they've got da-da-da-da-da. So it's been a way, I suppose, for people to kind of use to define and use like what happy is meant to look like, what is meant to look like compared to others. And like, okay, this is what my happiness looks like. What does your happiness look like? Oh, it's kind of like the same, or you know, whereas someone's happiness might be, well, firstly, it's always an internal thing, right? But in terms of externally how it might look, for someone, it might be, yeah, do you know what? I've got those material things, the car, the house, got children too. I'm doing well in my job and blah, blah. For someone else, it might be they're a monk and they just chill at the temple and they pray and they do what monks do. Don't know that much. For example, it might be something else. I don't know. But for example, what I just said about the monk and what I just said about the other example, in terms of in the Western world, at least, and this is generalization again, people are going to more look at, oh, I want to have the car and blah, blah, because I'll more be happy with that than what the monk does or is doing. And obviously, there's no reason why the two can't be combined. Or better yet, let's just rephrase it all. Instead of letting the external things, so aka society, generally society, define what is meant to be happy for you, you define what is happy for you. So firstly, yeah, again, it's the internal thing, but if also part of that, but if externally, some of what that looks like is having a real nice house for you and a car and a family and all of that, then great. That's your definition of happiness. If for someone else, it's, you know what, I just want to travel the world I just want to travel the world. I don't want to really stay in one place. And that's it. Then that's their definition of happiness. If it is the monk, then that's their definition of happiness. If it's whatever else, then that's their definition of happiness. If people define, if people own what their happiness is, people own that it's up to them to be happy, and they own it's up to them to define what their happiness is in terms of internally and what that looks like for them externally on the condition side, then it's all gravy. And it's going to look different for everyone else. And that's completely fine. But when you, but obviously, if you look to it to generally what it's meant to look like in the world, then it's, in terms of, let's say, bring it back to love life now, it is what's generally a successful love life thing is boy meets girl, boy woos girl, girl falls in love, boy's in love, they get in a relationship, they stay together for a little bit longer, and now they've been together for a while. Now they get married, stay together even longer, have children at some point, they buy a house together and all that other stuff. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. If that is your definition of what is important to you in your love life, if that's what you want, then that's what you have. Then by every means, you deserve that, and that's what you should have. But it will be different for everyone, and so some people might be here in the world having relationships, even when they don't want relationships. Doesn't mean they might not want to have a relationship ever in their life, but definitely, I'm aware that there are people who just because they want to have a relationship, then they just have one because that person's there, or they don't want to be alone and blah 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 blah. Because then externally, that means, but really, if internally it's a real uncomfortable experience, then it's not really just on the outside world. Not even sure why I said. I don't remember why I said any of that.
What it led up to. Bloody hell, yeah. What did that lead to? What was that from? Where did it stem from? It stemmed from
I don't know. I know you asked a question about like something about relationships and stuff, but yeah, I suppose at the end of the day, bring back this, like we just got to define what it is for ourselves. And the thing is, once we've defined what it is, stay aligned to that. That's it. And it's okay that you may change the definition, because that can happen and may happen, most likely will happen. That's all gravy. But as long as you can ongoingly stay aligned to that, what you've defined. For example, my friend who I was talking to yesterday, one of the things that came up was she was showing about, the kind of guys that the look of the kind of guy, like the looks are important to her, as well as the personality, but looks. But she was conflicted because she was like, she's met a couple of guys recently, and they weren't really her type looks wise, really, or they might have been at first when she saw their picture, but once she met them, she was like, oh, fucking hell, like, that kind of experience. But then she was feeling conflicted that she was feeling that way because she's like, oh, but she should be focused on what the person is like inside. And yes, that is an important thing. But I was saying to her, wait a second, why are you getting upset with yourself? You are allowed to have both. You're allowed to have what for you is hot externally and internally. But in society, there is that thing of, don't be superficial. It's not all about the looks. Yeah, it's not all about the looks, but wait, looks are going to be important. Let's not lie about that. If looks were never important, we would never ever consider what someone looked like then, if it wasn't. But it is. And so basically, and she's not, and she's kind of a little exhausted, like a little tired, like, because she did have an experience with someone who was hot and did have some of the internal things at first. And then that kind of unfolded, not necessarily in a nice way in the end. And one of the things that I said to her was, was because when I was saying to her, oh, it's that you're allowed to have both, she was saying, no, she doesn't believe that. I was like, what are you talking about? You don't believe it? I was like, well, if you don't believe it, then you're not going to have that for yourself. And I said, that might explain why the universe gave you someone who you found really hot, looks wise, and who you found quite attractive inside wise. But then it unfolded in a way, and with what she shared with me, I was like, you know, if you guys kept talking, it probably could have got resolved. So it kind of like how it ended up ending. It was kind of it didn't necessarily have to be that way. And I was like, but you believe that you're not able to have that, so universe took it out for you, you know, and you get to be right as well, because now you get to use other reasons of why I exactly wasn't perfect for you. So that's like a reinforcing thing that you're doing for yourself. And so what I was saying to her was, you're aware of what you like. Let's just call it that. You're aware of what you like. Forget about his looks, and you're aware of what you like. Stay aligned to that. Don't be spending time with guys that are not a match to that. Now, yes, at first you might have to meet some guys to see, like, because you won't fully know until you won't know someone's personality until you really meet them stuff. So they're cool. But once you have, if they're not your thing, don't then go adding all this other meaning, like, oh, why does this keep happening to me? On blah 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 blah. She started laughing because I was like, yeah, it's a laugh of recognition. Just acknowledge, like, oh, no, it's not your match, and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Enjoy that rest of the time, and then keep it moving with someone else next. And that's the thing, got to stay aligned. And when I was saying that to her, that was like me having to take some of my own advice too, because yeah, since that girl that I told you about, who I said about, I just want to, like, it's best that we spend time with people who are a match to us. Like, I've gone even more raggo and more picky. I didn't realize I could be even more picky, but I'm more picky. And at one point, I started having a conflict, like, oh, am I being too picky? Am I being too bit, like, not being open-minded? But it's not that. I've been open and allowed girls who are not generally my type, for example. And I want to say that not because they're unattractive, just I'm just aware of what I like, and I am entitled. Well, when I say entitled and deserve, like, it's my birthright. Just like everyone else, it's everyone's birthright to experience happiness and well-being and what they like. Period. That's my point of view on it. And so, based on that, why am I going to spend time with girls that are not really my type? So that girl that I was talking about to you about, right? All right, at that time I wasn't there, but when if I look at it, she's not my type. She's an attractive girl, and yeah, she had some nice inequalities, even though I did start getting annoyed with her and stuff. But it wasn't my type. But I still spent time with her. I wanted to see, and in terms of one of the things that I said, I've said to you about the whole, I like a girl can nurture, right? I like a girl who likes to give as much, who can give to the same degree as me. That is something I'm going to be able to notice and spot early on. But what I've done is like, it's not there yet, but let me give it a bit more time just in case. No, I don't want to do that anymore. That time, that energy that I'm using to see if that comes up is precious. And it's not because I don't have enough time. Yeah, I do. But I'm not going to wait, because she's not having to wait. She's not having to wait to see if I'm going to be nurturing, if I'm going to be open, if my heart is open, if I'm going to be nurturing. So I'm not going to wait to see if you are. And if you are not, even though you probably could be, that's fine. Then you hang out with a guy or guys that are cool with waiting. Basically.
So this goes on to a question I'm thinking of then based on that. Do you think first impression is kind of like a filter for distracting you from the things that would have made you both possibly go that step further, or maybe get to know each other more? Because it sounds like first impression.
I don't know. I don't understand what you're saying though.
First impression.
Yeah.
I just believe first impression is not enough. So based on what you said there, there's knowing things
Oh,
early
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like knowing things early on. I just think there's girls that I met, and the first 2 dates, for example, like whenever I've ever dated a girl, the first 2 dates, I've never been the way I was after a year or so. Like obviously you get more comfortable with this girl. Even the girl I'm seeing now, like I remember how it was the first time I saw her. It's like I wasn't. There was no aspects of how I express myself now in that first interaction, and how I felt about her then. I definitely didn't. I don't feel that now that there's a representation of how I saw her then to now. The only thing is, I could say, is that we've grown to like each other more.
Yeah, I get that's going to happen over time. Connection's going to deepen and get to know each other more. But what I'm saying, what I think, like, I get what you're saying. I'm not talking about. I get what you're saying, and that's fair and valid, and that's cool. And when that work, and whoever that works for is fine. And all I'm saying now, for me, what works for me is, it's not that I'm not going to be like, oh, let's have maybe a second chill time together. But what I'm saying is, when I come and meet a chick, generally, I am, here I am. That doesn't mean they know exactly everything about me. Of course not, in that space of time. But that they get an openness from me, and they get a giving from me. That happens. Of course, over time, we spend more time together. It's going to be more to. It's going to happen more, and the degree is going to be more. So what I'm saying is, that is what I am on now. What are you showing me? What are you? No, not what you're showing me.
What you bringing?
Not even what are you? Not even that. What are you expressing? What are you expressing? Because if you're expressing a little bit of that now, you're going to keep expressing. Then, well, forget about. I'm not even going to try and be like, define it in that way. Just what are you expressing? What are you expressing? And I get people are scared. I get people have their hearts closed because things have happened in the past. I don't give a fuck anymore. Sorry, and I mean that in the nicest way. I've had stuff happen in the past to give me reason to think every single girl is a freaking bitch, and to not trust girls and to not like them. I have to say I have valid reasons too, but that is not how I choose to be generally, generally in life. So I'm not going to come and meet this girl for the first time and have a closed heart and think to myself, yeah, are you gonna be like all the other girls? I'm coming with, hey, look, this is me. I'm gonna be as real as I can in this moment right now with whatever's gonna come up. Who are you? What's going on with you? And that's it. And however they are is fine. But just because however they are is fine doesn't mean however they are is a match for me personally. But there may be a match for someone else, and that's fine. So that's kind of how I'm running things now, lads. That's just the flex that I'm on. That's just the flex I'm on. Get me, bloods. Hey.
The thing is,
also, one other thing, just like roles, when I'm applying for castings and stuff, it's a similar kind of parallel a little bit. Like one genre, whenever I see the, I'll read about it still to see what the role is, just in case, because I'm staying open. But one, like, I do not see myself in horror movies. That's my own personal thing, because I don't like horror movies. And I don't. For me, generally, I'm like, it depends. But there could be a horror movie where, even though it's scary and all that sort of stuff, and I'm like, the storyline might grab me so much where I just see the benefit of why it's a horror, because of the difference, or not difference, but whatever their intention is, which might resonate and be aligned with me. Then potentially I might be, cool. But that's not happened yet. And generally, when I see castings for horror movies, that's something I don't apply for.
Mm.
So let's parallel that, right? Let's let's call the horror movie someone, a female who has a closed heart, maybe has some trust issues, or what is waiting for the guy to just open them up, make them feel more free and blah 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 and all that sort of stuff, which is nice and it's great when a guy can do that and nurture that, and I can and will do that. But again, as I said, I want what I said I've wanted already. But let's say that's the horror movie parallel, right? And then the other parallel is what's a casting out like Power Rangers. I want to be the next Power Ranger movie, right? That's one of the roles. A casting. I'm applying for that, bro. I'm applying for that. But the horror movie, nah, I'm okay. Like, if I parallel it like that, it's so simple and it's okay. No one's gonna say, "Oh, first impressions," then, and let's give it a bit more time. So that's how I always find little parallels with acting, like how I relate to acting and stuff with some things, in relation to the acting journey in relation to the love life journey. But yeah,
Ash, do you know there's a question here, bro?
What do you mean? You got a question, or there's a question from someone?
Oh no, no. There's a question here.
From who?
It says counts what a man does, not what a man says.
Where's this question? Where are you seeing that?
Okay. Go to the left of the screen.
Yeah.
And you know where it's got at the top, it's got an icon that says chat.
Yeah.
You hover over that one, and then
yeah,
the third one down is showcase. Fourth one down is Q&A.
Yeah.
You click on Q&A and it should come up on the left, on the right. I don't know when it was submitted.
Oh yeah.
I've been looking for this.
Oh, so there's this. Okay, so we've got this question because there's another question as well from Naria. Okay, so she's saying, man, for a girl, it just counts what a man does, not what a man says. Yeah. What? Okay, so that's not really a question.
In
that's
that
more.
Case, then
that occurs to me more like a statement, and that occurs like maybe that's a bit of an upset statement.
Is there truth to that though?
Huh?
Because if that's the case, why is it that there's many cases? There's a lot of men say holding on to what guys say. If it is just a doing thing, why is it that if a guy doesn't say something enough, that it's a problem versus he doesn't do this enough?
Because,
or do you believe that there is more? There
would like
more projection on the doing. Do you believe that there's more projection in your experience on the do? In fact, let's just select this first.
I'd like her to like maybe elaborate a little bit more on that, because the thing for me is, all right, for a girl, it counts what a man does, not what a man says. So, for example, maybe that I'm going to say that might be in a part of that might be from what I said earlier, right? Where, when I was saying about getting grilled, and I said, what, even when I verbally said to the girls, blah, 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 but they're still thinking da 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 da. And that's partly what my mum and the other girls were saying, was basically, yeah, even though you said that, but what you're doing is saying something different to them. It's contradicting.
Mm.
So that's maybe what Sylvia is implying around that, which is completely fine and valid. But then what my point around that is see, she's saying it's what counts is it's what a man does, but really what is actually counting is what the girl is making mean what the man does.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Thank you. But elaborating, that was when you were saying about you cooking for girls and stuff, and they want a real relationship, and you just wanted something else. So yeah, what my point is, Sylvia, okay, is what are you, for example, and what are other girls making that mean? Why are girls? I'm assuming. So I'm going to make this assumption right now that, for example, if I cook for a girl's going to make that mean, I want to be like, I really like her to the degree of want to be in a relationship with her, versus I just like her and enjoy her company and spend time with her. Let's say she has that as that means now I really like her enough to probably want to be in a relationship with her. It's not because I cooked. I spat on my screen there, getting passionate, blood. It's not because I cooked. Cooking doesn't mean I want to get in a relationship with you now. Cooking is me just cooking. This is what I was saying to Naria yesterday. But what the girl makes that mean is then what counts. So maybe what needs to be that question, what needs to be shifted is not it's not a case of it's not what a man says. It's not what a man says, it's what he does that counts. Maybe you want to say, well, it's not what a man says, it's not what a man does that counts, it's what the girl makes it mean that counts.
That is
that's just another potential. That's just another potential perspective to look at it from. Now, fair enough. What I was saying to Noria yesterday, like
communicate what it means to them.
Huh?
Communicate what it means to them versus like hiding that communication.
But why? No, wait a second. No, fudge that, lads. I'm sorry. I'm not a mind reader. I'm not a mind reader. How am I going to know she is thinking now? That might mean. Hey.
That's what I mean by communication. Is that we have
so they need to say that. Yeah, so they need to ask. They need to ask. Did you cook for me because you're thinking that maybe me and you might get in a relationship? And then my answer will be whatever it will be, and then they'll be clear about it. But that still won't matter. She is kind of right in terms of what the guy does, but it is in terms of more so what the girl is going to make that mean. Because when I was talking to my mum and the girls, the females, and I was saying about, but I verbally have said this, and they were like, yeah, but it doesn't matter because your actions are contradicting. And even when you're saying that, you keep doing other things, so that the girl is then thinking, maybe you're doing that now because now you feel differently. Yeah, but it's the meaning that they're making. And obviously, we're always going to keep adding meaning. So,
actually, I'll tell you what's deep about this then.
Girl got me all leaning forward and everything, you know.
No, but you say,
yeah,
I think the juice is, slightly getting into the system now, Ash. Huh?
What'd you say?
The juice is getting in the system now, blood. No, like, what I think, just to be devil's advocate here, like.
That's fine.
Now, think about this, Ash. You have no desire to have a girlfriend.
Yeah? There we go. Yeah.
No, full stop.
Yeah.
And that's all gravy. Like, I was the same. I was like, you know what, man? I'm just not on this thing. I'm just happy being alone. I can die alone. Like, I'll be comfortable, like living alone in a smart, no one beside me, and I can just be in my rocking chair and just be blessed. Like, I don't need anyone to look after me. Like, that's how I used to have that mentality. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've not. But just so you know, I didn't say any of that. Apart from, I just don't have a desire to have a girlfriend. I didn't say any of that other stuff. Just so
I know.
Okay.
I just kind of went into a bit of a. Say point where you're not.
Oh, you're cutting up. You're dipping. Oh, hold on.
You hear me now?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So you said, say if.
So there's a point where you said that you would like. No. You'd only get in a relationship if you're in love.
Yeah, there was that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you follow what that looks like for you, because I think for everyone else it looks different, right? If you fall in love, the girl that you fall in love with you'd have already communicated with her that I have no desire to be in a relationship or have a girlfriend, full stop, yeah? But what if you fall in love with her? I think what is there for some women is that you said that, yeah, they're hoping that they can change that. They're hoping that, do you know,
Yeah, I
actually,
know. Yeah,
you see what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, but if you do fall in love with her,
yeah.
what's going to happen then? Like, you'd have changed your mind, right? And she wants to
I
be
don't know.
say like, oh, hang in there for perfect timing. It's like you don't want to hang in there and be like, you know, oh damn, like we waited 2 years for this guy and he's still not gonna do this thing. Like, and I think for them, it's almost like a this is going really well. I know you don't want a relationship now, but come on, surely the year much, surely, like, come on, like we could do this now, right? Like, and then the pressure comes of like, okay, it's been a year now. I really want to meet someone, and then they're gonna give you that question. They're obviously gonna give you that question. That what's happening now? You'd be like, we're just
Yeah,
going to the flow, but it's like, yeah, but going to the flow means that I'm gonna have to wait for you.
that's not going to be my response. We're just going with the flow. The fudge happened. Dun. Bam for the bam to the reload. Bam for the bam to the reload. See if you're there in the chat, blood. Are you there still? Junior. Oh, there we go. Junior. Junior. Junior.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
So yeah,
That
you
took a
cut
while.
out. But what was the right? What was the question though? Well, you just because you said you had a question. You're gonna be devil's advocate. So was that a long question you were saying, or were you just building up?
So, yeah, it's quite a long. So what I wanted to say is, how is she to know that? Okay, hold on. We're just living and we're going ahead. And we're just having fun. We said, "Oh, we're just with the," but then we fall for someone. Now, for them,
We're just what?
you're meeting these girls, yeah.
Yeah.
For example, and you're just flowing with life and everything's going fine, and you say, you know what, I don't want a relationship now, da da da. But then someone comes into your life, you start to feel like potential, nurturing, my best friend. I tell her everything. We like this girl. Oh my god, she supports me through everything. And then she holds on to your statement, and she continues maybe seeing other people outside of you, just like you're doing the same. But then you fall for her. And in that moment that you fall for her, you communicate to her, you know what? I know I said this, and this, but boy, you've been doing this thing.
Mm.
Now, for her, it could be, but I'm seeing someone now. Or how do you feel? Oh, okay, I'm married now.
How would I feel
I
if
know
what?
that. How do you feel? She said, I'm going to get married now. Though. I met this guy and I like him. And,
Yeah, but
you
you're
know,
asking me something that is not even happening. How am I going to know that?
no, but just based on, no, I'm playing devil's. So for a girl, it's going to be hard for them to accept you saying that because they feel like, what if it does turn around that you decide that you do fall for them? Do they wait for that? Do they wait for that? And they just say, you know, like, fine, you don't want a relationship now, cool. I'm going to meet someone else. And if you fall in love with me, too bad because I've
Yeah,
met
but I'm
someone
not
else.
saying. Yeah, but in terms of the context that you're saying it of, it's not that I don't want a relationship now. It's that I don't want a relationship. Is that what are you going on when with what I said today about not? I don't have a desire for a girlfriend, or are you going on beforehand when I was like, oh, I'm not going to be in a relationship until I fall in love? But the blood fire. Being gratified. Let's play some music while waiting.
Now, what's up, baby? Hold up, I am not one of your groupies. I know you didn't even try to play me like that. Wait a minute. Where you going? You see me?
Come on, Junior, man. Taking time, man. Need someone like me to satisfy.